So I'm going to talk just a little bit about holding when the center isn't holding. Okay. I'm going to reference a conversation, and I'm very careful to keep the details, anonymous. But twice this week, I've had conversations with people who they can sense that the center isn't holding, like they feel like the center is shifting. Now, what do I mean by the center isn't holding? Well, I mean the foundational anchor that's been holding the relationship together, they're feeling like it's shifted or it's starting to be lost in a downward spiral. That means that the relationship is really challenged. And a lot of times people reach out to me right at that time or after the center hasn't held and the downward spiral, they're in that downward spiral. So these two people were a little more proactive in contacting me, which is a good thing, because there are things that you can do when you're sensing that the center of your relationship isn't holding. That a lot of times maybe the relationship was put on what I call automatic. I heard that term in the past 30 plus years ago when I studied a relationship course, and it talked about you cannot put a relationship on automatic. Automaticity is good for machines, but it's not good for humans, especially relationships. Like, you have to feed them. But a lot of times things like career changes, children, like babies being born, or children sometimes going through difficult times, and a couple is parenting the children, and maybe they aren't necessarily on the same page. And so some stuff that's going on with the children can be divisive and can cause the relationship to weaken instead of strengthen. Sometimes we ride right over these things. Maybe you're out of town working a lot. Maybe you just are working a lot. Like I have to remember, it's a very conscious creation for me to remember to limit my work, because I'm somebody who is very mission driven. And so I do tend to, what other people say, spread myself thin. I don't know if that's exactly true, but I do know that I have to manage my creations, and my relationship with Denny is a creation. My relationship with my children is a creation, with my grandchildren is a creation. And so a lot of times we get in these different things, these different challenges in a relationship. Maybe that a child is walking the path of drugs. That's a huge stressor on a marriage. It could just be like a job change, and one spouse stays in one location and the other is in the other location, and they know it's for a short period of time, but what do you do during that time? How do you continue to feed the relationship and not have it go into those, like where you don't have your center anymore? You can feel that the center is not there. And so the biggest thing that I tell individuals is that during these times where they're sensing it, or even if they're in it, the one thing that will be the most powerful is to work on you. Work on you. Figure out what you need to work on. Sometimes you just have a conversation with a coach or something, and that coach will tell you or guide you and say, you probably need to, maybe they don't even offer that service, but they're really good. I do this a lot. Honestly, I do this a lot. Like, I can't serve all the people that contact me. And there are people that I know that might serve them even better than I could in that area, or at least as well. And so I tend to, make a referral, so to speak. But the real message here is that in working on yourself, you start to feel a control, your center your center gets grounded again. I think a lot of times when people feel that quote center of the relationship is shifted, or it's not quote holding, it's not anchored like they felt that it was before, a lot of times their own anchor got lost way before the relationship. That's truth. Yeah. Working on you is the best way to actually restore a relationship. It's the first step, is working on you and figuring out how to maximize you, because in the maximum of you is what the partner was attracted to in the beginning. And so when we work on ourselves, what do? We work to increase our strengths and diminish or lessen our weaknesses. And so working with someone to do that is really a really big thing. But I felt called just to share that, probably because the conversation came up twice this week. Yeah. Yeah. And both those people were proactive. They didn't wait for the bottom to fully fall out. I mean, they have a pretty good prognosis, and we're going to work together, and they're going to be on a really good path. If nothing else, they're going to be on a good path. Because the thing is we have control over a relationship to a certain degree. In this case, both these people are going to do very, very well. And they're forward thinkers, they're more leaders, and so they know they have to lead themselves and lead themselves at home. So anyhow, that's it. I am actually on my way to a book group that meets every couple months, and but I knew I hadn't come live this week, and it had occurred to me that there's probably a lot of people out there that this will resonate with. And you can just I guess I should put a link for the call. I think I have a page that you go to, and then you fill it in. And yeah, I will put that in the comments just as soon as I get done here. So I hope you have a great rest of your day, evening, whatever it is. And I'll be back very soon with have a couple really cool topics that I wanted to talk on. I just didn't have time to talk on them today. And this other thing was coming up, and I thought I need to share it. So I hope you have a great rest of your day.